This is the graphic, this is the website, everything that goes along with this. So taking the text tool or double clicking this, I always tend to like to make this a little bit lighter so that I can still see it, and clicking a capital letter F into this size and then just grabbing it, shift keying it, making it a little bit larger. And up at the top, I know that Times is probably a sans serif font that will work, Times bold. And it'll give me that font. Now, rather than try to create the exact shape of that, I just want to show you how you can manipulate it with the type and not try to have to outline the text, because the font is pretty accurate right there. And again, you can go into the functions up at the top. You can go into other areas in the character palette. You can click on here to get some different ones, and every one that you drag through here is going to show up. You can spacebar to move it out of the document size selection so that you can click in here, and again, just kind of coming through, and you can see all the different fonts as they scroll through, and it'll show up on the screen without you having to select each one to build it up there. So you may find one that's a little better, but just kind of giving you that overall look. And this hopefully will emphasize the fact of what is the section of serif font and a sans serif font, and just kind of showing you a couple different ways to get to it. So if you find one that's closer to it, obviously you can use that, but it's just trying to get you to take a look at it. For example, say I just use this one. I'll zoom into it. I can take the direct selection tool. This is still a font, meaning it's still editable with type. So I'll put a copy of it next to it. And what you want to do is go to type and create outlines. And what that does is it now makes it just as if you drew it with the pen tool or something like that. So I take the selection tool, and now I can try to adjust it to fit that type pretty closely. And now if you're pretty one that wants to keep everything super accurate, like for example this piece up here, I can go in here and take some of these sections of the tools, select these using the arrow key, and just moving this up a little bit, taking this one, either adjusting the anchor point or the handles, or use the pen tool and delete the anchor point. And that way I can reestablish some of these, but it gives me a groundwork of everything already set up. And then using the direct selection tool to adjust these, adjust this font. And like I said, this is just trying to simulate to get it as close as you can to this. So here's this corner point, just selecting these two, moving it up, and taking it out. And again, trying to get into these tools so you can get an idea of what they do, and using the handles and the keystrokes just to adjust them. So like this whole one, I can select this whole area and just move it up a bit, and then select all of this part and move it out a bit. And that's just that easy. And then taking a look at the whole interior part of this letter, do the same, just bumping it over like that. And you can quickly adjust it. You also have the widgets that are the corners that show up into that section. So I came pretty close. Not super accurate, but again, just trying to use the tools that are there to help me establish this this selection. Now, if you're paying attention, you can see it. That's good. You can see the different steps to it. But right now, that's just the beginning, and the letter's there. So now I can click on it, take the eyedrop tool, and just click on the blue, and that'll give me that section. I can click on here and just give the stroke a black line. If that blue I think is too dark, I'm just going to pick a lighter color for it, much lighter, just like that. Okay. Now I can't see through everything because I just put an image on there, but I'm going to go ahead and do the things that are visible. So this rectangular shape out here, I'm just going to click and drag like so, and I'm going to take the fill off for temporarily and deselect it, and do the same with these successive ones here. So this little rectangle that's here, I'm just going to zoom into it. It's highlighted, and I'm just going to Option and Shift key to put a copy of it, and Command D duplicates it into that section. Can do the same on this piece right here. Just grab the corner, take it there, and use the eyedrop tool to fill it with that color. The bottom part is trying to be the strap that you would use for a bookmark. So I'll drop a section down there. And here's a point where I just want to add a point. So with the pen tool held down, I can get Add Anchor Point. It tells me where the center one is, and then I can just move it up. And it's that simple. The only difficult part is doing these little flourish pieces, and you just want to do one, duplicate it around to make it so you don't have to continually place all of them. With this letter, I can go to Object and Hide Selection, and it hides it for temporary just so I can see through everything. And just create this. And the easiest way, again, trying to get an easy way to do this, is to just take a rounded rectangle tool, illustrate this piece here, take the fill out so you can see it, and increase that piece, and that gives you that corner. Okay? And then the other part where you can select just part of this, and it lets you take off just a section of that. So deselecting it with the direct selection tool lets me take that section off of there. And then taking an elliptical tool, shift keying this part, and just Option to duplicate it. And the shift key just kind of set it right off to the side there. And then this part, I'm just going to use the line tool just to show you how that tool works. Shift key with that one. And that gives me this edge. And you can take a look at the stroke and put round caps on the end of it. Give it a little look to it. For most purposes, that part is kind of done there. I'm just going to select the circle with the eyedrop tool and give it that fill by grabbing that copy of it. And then all you need to do is select all of this, right-click on it to group it, and then Option, and just drag it down here. Here it is at the bottom, and here it is on the left-hand side. So just come to the outside corner to rotate it, like so. And that gives you that piece. Now again, this is a little bit longer, so watch how easy this is to manipulate. It's grouped together, so I double-click on it. Up in the top left, you see it grays out everything. It's in what they call an isolation mode. So here's this piece and this section. So if I take the direct selection tool and just drag it around that corner and just bump it down a bit, it makes that section, and do the same with this stroke. And zoom out, and there you have it. Just come on out of this section here and do the same thing down to this bottom one, only it's rotated around. So click on it, just rotate it with the shift key to keep it perpendicular, line it up with one of them. It's all grouped together, so when you double click on it, it'll take you into the isolation mode again. So just select these pieces here and bump them over a bit, and then come on out of there. So it's pretty easy once you get it going and get it set up. This part that has the straight line through it, just take one of these pieces, this section, and put Option key to duplicate it up here. And you can see it's just that section. So you can ungroup this, zoom in a little bit, and just take pieces and parts of it, set the straight line up here. Take the direct selection tool to click on the end part to drag it across. And then take just one of these circles and place it right there on the end. And bring it to front. Just right click on it to arrange it and bring it to front. And then just get rid of this stuff that you don't Now the letter F was hidden, so just go to Object and Show All, and it brings it back. Send it to the back there. Oops. And this section that has these three kind of lines, just use the line tool to create one of them. Take the selection tool and just click on it, hold the Option and drag it across, and Command D, and there you have it. And then just make sure that you save it. Go to the Layers panel, hide the background layer. Here's the foreground layer. And that gives you this particular piece. Again, you can go to View, Trim View, it'll hide everything that's not essential. Letter F key hides everything. Zoom into it, spacebar to center it, and then Command Shift 4 to give you that. Escape if you don't want it, to readjust it. And again, there it is right there.